officially live. Welcome everybody to the Toku Portal podcast for Uchuu Sentai KyuuRanger. I am Vashi V, and I am joined with...
Kid.
Little King.
Rye.
And today we're talking about Uchuu Sentai KyuuRanger episode 31. So first we get a recap from Lucky. Then back in the present on the Oriongo, Hami is brought up to speed on what went down in the past. The other Rangers are shocked nothing has changed because they defeated Don Armage. Stinger informs Hami about Champ and Sho staying in the past, but they're certain they'll see them again. Raptor says the Oriongo still needs to be repaired. Lucky is still determined to defeat Don Armage in the present. But Hami tells them that balance has been missing for a while, and Garu and Kotaro were captured by Naga. And we cut over to them and Naga. He's determined to defeat balance for good. Thoughts?
Naga has officially gone batshit fucking nuts at this point. Because he's officially gotten to the point where he's willing to take other allies of the one he used to call his closest friend just so he can get an opportunity to kill him. Does that not sound at least close to the definition of what I just said? In any case, it was good to see everybody again despite the circumstances, and I liked Balance just going missing. Like, he made it seem like he went rogue for a little bit, and I know we might touch on this later, but I love what he did with the Kitama, the microscope one. Just from first glance, the designs look really cool, and it looks like him, so good touch on them. So yeah, it was a good opening.
Pretty much what King said. Naga's just getting more and more insane as, like, he spends more time with Akiyama. He is unrecognizable at this point.
Naga, at this point, is a shit stain. He's, at this point, just lost his mind due to the, overwhelming emotions and the fact that Akiyama is, Akiyama. And yeah, that's basically it. The fact that they kind of made it seem like Balance had literally just disappeared was fantastic, and a nice little touch with. I mean, granted, yeah, it got washed over pretty quick with it, but it was a nice touch. And them sitting there trying to figure out what happened and all that, with bringing everybody up to speed, trying to figure out why nothing has changed despite everything they did in the past. It was a nice little moment.
Yep. So then Echidna walks into the room, surprising the Rangers, beside Lucky, who's seen her before, and Hami. Hami explains who she is, because the past team has never met her. She repeats that she must kill Naga, basically. Balance struts into the room as she leaves. He's in pretty high spirits, and he presents a modified Kyutama, which we kind of talked over. It's the microscopium Kyutama. Basically the one that Raptor used a few times to snipe. And then we get the opening. Any more thoughts?
I've already said my piece on the Kyutama and Balance, but I like how Echidna is starting to enforce herself just a little bit, despite how little she's been in the show. But fact is, I mean, she's cracking down now. So, I mean, a friggin' assassin after Naga's life. One thing I'd like to know is, how fast does news travel to that planet? Because it's only been a little bit, our time anyway. In any case, yeah, not really much to say to start with her, but she definitely adds some good bits later on.
I like the gag of Tsurugi seeing her and going, "Naga, you're back!" But other than that, yeah, she hasn't really done much, so there isn't much to say.
Right. The nice little play of the fact that they looked the same was amazing. And actually, it did get me to laugh. Um, but yeah, like you said, right, and King, she really hasn't done much. And in terms of being an assassin, she kind of sucks at her job. Um, but yeah, to answer King's question, this is my theory on it. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure she was sent after Naga. Pretty much once they realized Naga was gone. Considering the fact that he left to gain emotions, that would make sense that she's basically just been trying to follow him around. Not that they've gone far; they've pretty much been on Earth this entire time, except for a few side trips.
So yeah, after the opening, then we get the episode title, Space 31, The Big Naga Rescue Plan. We cut to Naga fighting Echidna, and we get some pretty neat drone cam. Well, he's transformed as metal, so, because obviously that'd be kind of weird if the actor was fighting himself. I thought there being some weird screenplay there. Stunt double. Anyways, yeah, Echidna's no match for Naga and his overflowing rage. She tries to shoot Naga while he's gloating, but she's paralyzed by his ability and forced to point her gun at her head. That was really intense. Like, holy shit, is this still a kid show? That was really great. But the Rangers interfere just in time. They star change and fight Naga and his Indibi. Naga uses his Dark Galaxy attack to defeat Lucky and Balance. He ends his transformation and laughs with glee before leaving. Any initial thoughts on the fight?
For how short it was, it still hit hard emotionally with Balance and Naga. Obviously not nearly as much a few weeks ago, but the pain was still there. And the fight with Naga and Echidna, I thought was like, I will openly say from experience, that bit when he made her point that gun at her head seriously was one of those moments where you're green, please don't do this. And is it me, or did that gun look like a Grey Goblin revolver? Did anyone else think that? No? Just me? Okay. But yeah, the overall fight was, while small, still really good.
When I said that Naga is unrecognizable at this point, this fight is a huge example of that. Like, everything he does is just absolutely different from how he normally fights. And the part where he makes her point the gun at her own head is probably the darkest thing that has been in this series. Because, like, Garou losing most of his species, yeah, that was pretty dark, but they just glanced over it. This is something that they held on to for a solid 5 seconds. Like, it was like, what's the word? Tense.
Like, with the difference between, like, Garou's and Naga's situation here is, like, we have the backstory of everything that led up to Garou's species being exterminated. So it makes sense with everything that happened up to the start of the series. They fought back, got wiped out. You know, it makes sense. Yes, it's kind of dark, but it's one of those, it's easily, you know, brushed over with, oh, well, that's just the way things ended up. This was just disturbing. Because up until now, the only thing that we've seen Naga be able to do is literally free somebody. So, knowing that he now has the control to that extent is terrifying with him being evil. I mean, to the point, I mean, he literally sets her up to kill herself. So, yeah, it's disturbing, and it's one of the more disturbing moments in Sentai that I've seen in recent years. And yeah, while it was short, it was amazing. Though I did do a fun experiment with this with the roll call for this series, for this scene. I had showed the roll call to my friend, who had never seen Sentai, but he's seen Power Rangers, so he knows the logistics of it. I asked him to point to the Red Ranger of this series, like the lead Red Ranger, and he pointed to Ho Ho. I'm like, no, it's the guy in white. He's the Red Ranger. He gave me the biggest look of what the fuck are you talking about? So yeah, that's fun to explain to people who's never seen this show.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, Spada, Tsurugi, and Hami and their transformations, but they're in a good mood. Spada explains that Akiamba's mood-changing ability involves sending microscopic indibi into her victim's brains. Hami explains that Balance's modified Kembikyu Kyutama is able to shrink people. Balance and Lucky went into Naga's body to reach his brain after they dodged his attack. So Balance is certain that they can wake Naga, but Indibi appear in Naga's brain. Lucky changes.
Can I cut you off a little early?
Go for it.
So what they used to shrink was a modified Kyutama. What did it do before Balance worked on it? Was it just a microscope?
No, it was a telescope.
Basically,
Kyutama.
yeah.
It was the one Raptor used to snipe the governor.
Oh.
No, they're two separate ones. They're
No,
separate ones.
Oh, they were separate? I thought it was the same Kyutama. He just modified it to do this.
The telescope one's like a sniper scope. Microscopium's like a magnifying glass.
Oh, then yes. What the hell did it do before? Because I don't remember it getting used.
I guess it was.
Like I said, it's like a giant.
It's like
Okay, remember when they nearly got hurled into the sun?
yeah.
She jumped onto the Orango's head and then used it to see all the little particles on his head that were controlling
Okay,
his
so it was just like a super
Yeah, okay, I messed up then. My bad. Good job, King.
No.
No, you didn't mess up.
No, I did. I totally thought that it was the sniper one that he modified. I forgot that there were two different ones.
Anyways,
sorry, did you
you
want to
can go on now.
Oh, okay. So let's see. Yeah, the microscopium and the B show up. Oh yeah. So yeah, Lucky star changes to fight them off, while Balance leaves to find the dormant Naga that's somewhere in his brain. Yeah. Spada, Tsurugi, and Hami find their location using Seiza Blaster GPS, but Akamba and her two Tsuyoindabi interfere. Balance finds the dormant Naga, but Governor Micro Tsuyoindabi shows up and summons Dark Naga into his brain. Pretty weird, but at the same time, it was kind of neat, I guess. Naga Dark changes, Balance Star changes, and fights back. Thoughts?
I'll try to make my thoughts quick. The acting, when they made it seem like Lucky and Balance were dead, even though I didn't know they were gonna do that whole plan at first, even I could tell that wasn't exactly the best fake acting on their part. But it was still funny, so. And I love that the Kyutama basically gave them the magic school bus powers now. I thought that them going into Naga's brain to go to the source itself, I actually thought that was really clever. And it's hits two birds with one, go find Gato and Kotaro. So that's a good plus. And it's subtle again, but I feel like this was another one of those moments where you feel like they're spread thin. Like Stinger's off to find Gato and Kotaro. Hami, Spada, and Tsurugi have to go up against a Vice Shogun, and they've proven that it takes 12 of them just to beat one, so kinda seems a bit lopsided to the bad guy side. And I like the idea that they're trying to make this feel separate from what happened when Naga first got changed. Like all those people that were amped up by their emotions, they just had little endeavors running around. This time he's got a freaking malice straight dealing messing with his head. That's slightly twisted, yet slightly cool at the same time. And my first ever Toku theory was proven right finally, because I said that Naga and Dark Naga are entities. This dude just proved me right, and I am so happy about that. And that also means that it's not entirely Naga in the driver's seat, so that makes me feel a little bit better about everything that's happened. All in all, very good setup for a very, very good moment.
So first off, I disagree with you, King. I felt that Hame's scream was pretty legit for having seen her friends just die. The thing that gave it away for me, though, was Spada going, "Mamma Mia!" like a fucking idiot. That was the most out-of-character thing for him. I hate it.
You've said it before, though.
Yeah, but I still hate it.
Fair enough.
As for them being spread thin, I like that. In a Sentai as big as this one, spread out. Like, you can tackle multiple things at a time, and I like that they're finally doing that. Even if we're not seeing a lot of what's going on, we know that it's happening.
Right, and that was one of the things that we've been having an issue with the series, is because like they start to do it and then they drop it with the spreading everything around. Because like they started sending 2 or 3 of them off to go do something else, and then it's next episode everybody's all back together for like 8 episodes. Then send these 3 off to do this. It's like I don't think they're spreading it out enough. So to have this in the scene was great. Number 1, congratulations, King. You have a theory proven correct. In, a Toku kind of way. And, yeah, to me it was the Mamma Mia that was out of place. Because it's not the fact that it was said, it was the way it was said. It was said in a way that, there's nothing wrong, I'm just going to say Mamma Mia, I want to sound like Mario. But the whole thing in Naga's head is, I'm sorry, that's a mindfuck. Because think about it logically. You have Naga, who got turned into Dark Naga, which, as far as we know, did nothing to the guy except unlock his emotions. But no, what it really did was took a smaller version of Naga in his head, strung him up, put a bunch of Indebi in there, and then in the middle of the fight, Dark Naga, who is the body of this guy, literally jumps into his own head. Mind fuck. Though yes, and thank you for the parallel to the magic school bus. The original, not the crappy new Netflix version.
Yeah, like I was thinking when I was watching that this whole thing with Nog, like, so the real Naga is stuck inside his own mind and they're going inside Naga's mind to free him. Like, holy shit, this is unbelievable. Like, I don't even know what to say about this.
Meta as fuck.
All you can say is magic school bus and think back to when they jumped into one of the students' bloodstream.
That would be Ralph.
Thank you for giving me the idea.
I couldn't remember the name. But yeah, I mean, from a logical standpoint, just explaining this entire scene to somebody is like, you look at him and go, how much acid did you take at 3 o'clock in the morning when you thought of this? I mean, it's a nice premise, and it's been used in sci-fi before, where somebody goes evil and there's, the premise of, it's not so much that they saved Naga himself inside his head, it was, they just unlocked that part of Naga, that part of his personality, kind of thing. Which, I mean, that's fine and all, but just the way it played out just seemed really fucking strange.
Definitely. So, as prisoners, Garu and Kotaro try to reason with Naga, who begins shuddering in pain as a microscopic battle takes place inside his freaking brain. Fed up with Balance's kindness, Metal tries to kill the dormant Naga, but Balance sacrifices himself. He collapses, sparks flying out of his body. So, perfect time for a commercial break. Dark Naga stumbles out of the building into the fight outside. Inside Naga's brain, Dark Naga taunts Balance for sacrificing himself for that guy. Balance asks how he can refer to himself as that guy. And then Balance goes on to explain that in his 300 years of life, this is the first time he's found a partner he can entrust everything to. He can't imagine a galaxy without Naga. Outside, Hami limps towards Naga and hugs him and tells him that he's not alone through tears. Spada begs Naga to open his eyes. Tsurugi tells him to come back after he's knocked out of his transformation. Stinger, Garu, and Kotaro call Naga as well on their Seiza blasters. So yeah, even though Stinger isn't fighting, he was able to rescue Garu and Kotaro. That's nice. Raptor prays to herself, kinda. Lucky is certain that Naga can hear everyone's voices. Balance tells Naga to remember what he wanted. A tear rolls down his face as he begins remembering all the memories that he's made. Metal finally attempts to kill Balance, but he's blocked by Naga, who is crying. Okay, so should I keep going, or do you guys want to say anything?
Get the rest of the notes out of the way, because I got a shit ton to say for this one.
I had a feeling. Okay, so yeah, Naga blocks Metal's sickle with his own sickle. He sympathizes with Metal, but he says that those are not the emotions he wants. The ones he wants, he'll obtain with Balance and his comrades. He defeats Metal and absorbs him. His clothes and skin return to normal. Lucky and Balance land on the ground as a tier and return to normal size. Naga continues to cry and thanks everyone. So at this point, yeah, I was definitely tearing up. And even watching the replay for the notes, it got me. Because holy crap, Hami, even though she hasn't been the main focus of a lot of these episodes, she just, wow, she's so great. And Naga and Balance's voice actor, they just all did such a damn good job. I don't know how you could not be crying at this point.
Everything is falling my eyes out the whole damn time. Like, I like that they showed the effect of what was going on in Naga's head. Like, that's going to their head. So, kudos on that. Just the fight between the two of them in his head, that painful, like, Balance just taking hit after hit because he thinks that's gonna make him feel better. And just, oh my god, the fact that he's willing to openly say, I may have been alive for years, but he is the first person I have ever known that I will give everything for. That's amazing to me. And Hami, while very subtle this arc, she's grown up in that moment. Like, she is not the little brat she was when she started out. She's openly trying to show her feelings. Like, she's trying to help Naga in a way that doesn't seem brash or like a little kid. She's grown a lot in that moment, and everybody just yelling out and triggering all those memories in Naga's head, I think was just both very cool and very sad to watch, because it makes you realize just how much Naga is appreciated, but at the same time underappreciated, because as I'm sure we've all said at some point or another, Naga really hasn't gotten the spotlight very much until now. So to see all this build up at once, I think is absolutely stunning. And oh my, I think it's fitting that Naga beat Metal, because this whole time Metal's been giving everybody, showing that to everybody, including himself. So I think it's only fair that he finishes the job. And just, oh my god, Naga bawling to everybody, saying thank you. I was bawling right there with him. I was okay. My emotions are everywhere, and I'm rambling. So I would leave it at that. Long story short, I loved this so much.
Hame fucking sells this scene. Like, those look like legit tears when she ran up to hug Naga. And it's not even out of place too, because a few episodes ago it was her that Naga went to and asked, like, why don't I have emotions yet, and she was unable to help him out with it, and she probably still feels bad about that. So that hit me really hard. And I recently watched Cho Superhero Tyson. Naga was the best part of that movie. The emotional development that he gets, just the character development in general, is incredibly good. And it made me wonder, why isn't this kind of character development happening in the series? And now here we have an episode where he kind of is getting that level of, yeah, this is really good. It's amazing. It's probably the best thing this series has done. And yes, I do still remember everything with Scorpio.
Like, for me, this whole thing is the perfect explanation of how to do character development. And in a way of, not letting Lucky hog the fucking spotlight. The fact that it literally came down to Balance versus Dark Naga. Lucky just focused his ass on that, little magistrate, and that was the end of that. The way Hame reacted and ran up and hugged Naga, like Rai said, that sells the entire scene. And it was just done amazingly. Like, there are times where I've, been wondering about certain characters and how handled in terms of development. So I was like, this pointed out that while it's been very, very underplayed with Hame, and or just looked over in general in certain instances, that she has gotten character development, and the fact that they're still tying her into the fact that she feels responsible for what happened to begin with Naga. So it was a nice touch that really sells it. The fact that what was going on in Balance's head affected, or Naga's head affected, Dark Naga. Like, just everything they did with this scene was done perfectly. And I love this episode. It's like, I can't get enough of this episode. Like, I want to go back and watch it when I'm done with this. And I don't say that very often in general, and I have not said it with KyuuRanger. But yeah, the fact alone it came down to Balance, and then the interaction between Balance and Naga, the end of that was just amazing.
Welcome, Drago.
Hello.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm here.
So, what do you have to say about this episode? You can just run through from the beginning if you want.
This episode is my favorite episode of KyuuRanger by far. I'm not gonna speak from the beginning because I can't speak that fast. What in this episode, the development of character between Balance and even other characters, how they react to what is happening to Naga was one of the things that I really enjoyed about it. And they also did the team dividing thing in a way that it makes sense. Like me getting Garu and wait, Kotaro captured. That was good, and then also the fact that Naga Dark Naga is such a twisted individual that you know that thing, and then them going and then balance finding out another ways to help Naga by going inside his head and then trying to rescue him, and that relationship between Balance and Naga was very well explored in this episode. I Yeah, that's what I have to say. And for the first time, I feel that Lucky is in the is a few instances where Lucky is in the main focus at all, and it doesn't feel like he. And then he was also a bit. I was also not that in the front and center of the episode like most episodes tend to do.
All right. So yeah, their moment is interrupted by the governor, and I totally saw what they were gonna do here, but it was still pretty hilarious. He basically just became normal sized compared to the Rangers because he's microscopic in his original state. So the Ranger star change and roll call. Lucky Star starts playing. Lucky handles the Kyamba as Shishi Orion. Yeah. Balance and Naga use their teamwork to easily defeat Micro Tsuyoindebi. And the others defeat Akyamba's Tsuyoindebi. Naga thanks Akyamba because now he can control his anger. And honestly, I didn't see this coming. He star changes into Habitsukai Metal without the eye on his chest or the red stuff on his helmet. So Akyamba is defeated by Metal Ophiuchus Crush and Infinish Blast, but she's still alive, haha, and just runs away. The governor summons a giant Habitsukai Metal before he disappears. The giant metal is swiftly defeated by Kyuutamajin after Naga and Balance use their mech's combo attack to kind of just knock him down. Aboard the Oriongo, Naga bows and apologizes. Balance bows as well. Everyone forgives him. Balance starts to leave. Everyone encourages Balance to say something. He turns around with tears running down his face. They're not like streams of water. They're just like these big plastic tears on his face. It's pretty funny. He jumps down and hugs Naga. Echidna leaves and entrusts the galaxy to Naga. Naga tells the Rangers excitedly that he has a lead on Don Armage's location. However, in the background, Raptor is worried that the Oriongo will no longer fly. Episode end. Thoughts?
Yeah, that the fight scenes was really good, and I thought the Megazord battle was unnecessary. But the fact that any people other than Lucky are getting up like a form change slash power up, which is which I feel is a good thing to do because he already has Orion, Pega's Sun, and the Sun and Moon Kyutama. Wait, I forgot that Kyutama's name. Yeah, and so that was pretty interesting, and I feel that like Naga beating the Akiyamba was Naga like fighting Akiyamba was a really good thing. Yeah, Hikari Kyutama and was good, but at least and now the fact that they have a lead on Don Argamage's location is pretty interesting. I don't know how they are gonna tackle how they are gonna try and beat him with Shorompo and Champ not in the present timeline.
Yeah, okay. I'll try to get my fight. I'll try to get that out of the way. The fight scene was a lot of fun. Like, loved seeing Naga and Balance fight again. I loved seeing Orion form fight again. I am especially in love with the fact that Naga gets to keep Metal and that it's a symbol of him being able to control his emotions now. Like, that shows a lot of growth to me. Like, at first he was trying to gain it, now he can finally control what he's gained. So, I thought that was really cool. And yes, the Megazord fight may have been unnecessary, but one, no matter how weird it looks, Kyutama-jin has grown on me, and I was glad to see it again after so long. And two, we never get to see, like, a giant-sized ranger against the Megazord. Like, the only instance I can think of it is KyuuRanger. And that was, what, 17? No, not 17 years ago.
That was
it's been a...
that was 92. That was 25 years ago.
Ah, yes,
There was-
thank you.
Wait, I remember one episode of Power Rangers Zeo where the Rangers grew in size.
Oh yeah, that was actually the finale. I don't
True,
know if
but-
that was stock footage or not though. I didn't see KyuuRanger.
Oh, it's original. It's original. But it was really cool to see that since we haven't seen that in a long time. So that was really unique to me. And just seeing one, I was crying with Balance because for one thing, did anybody catch what Stinger did when that happened? He's pointing to his cheeks like, how did you get those? And just Balance running in Anaga's arms, bawling his eyes out. I just died, laughing and crying. And Echidna, I know she hasn't changed her mind, but I'm glad she's at least made peace with the fact that Naga can, you know? And they did it again. I feel like they have a good lead into the next plot point, being that we're finally gonna be able to start cracking down on the big bad himself, and now we have a means to finish him. So I am very excited about that. Plus, I forgot to say, I'm glad they didn't kill Akamba yet. I'm glad she's still a threat. But I'm wondering what's gonna happen with her next. So we'll have to wait and see on that. And as for what's gonna happen next week with Raptor, from what they teased, I am very excited because we are getting a race, and we are finally, probably, gonna figure out what the hell the deal is with Uncle Oriongo. So I am very happy and very excited with this week.
When Naga like used his metal form, I was like, yes, he gets to keep it, because it's just so refreshing to have someone other than Red get an upgrade. It's been so long. In fact, we had been talking that the white suit, like, they might pass it around, they might share it. I'm thinking that's not the case. I'm thinking that was made exclusively for Lucky to use, and that they introduced a second red in Tsurugi because they were going to change Lucky's suit to white.
Could be.
Yeah. Now, I really enjoyed seeing Naga and Balance actually fight together, because we don't get nearly enough of that for them being like an actual like combi. In Go Onger, we had Go on Gold and Go on Silver, who were the Go on Wings. They always worked together. They made
Go on wings, go on wings. Awesome song.
they made an incredible two-person Sentai. Like, they just did it. That's what they were. And when I watched that, I looked at Balance and Naga and went, that's what's missing from this. They're not being shown to work together enough. I'm glad that we got this fight here, even though we're not going to get this ever again. Oh, as for the mech fight, I guess Show Rampos and Champs cockpits decided to transcend space and time so they could be here for the fight. And then there was
that was actually that was actually kind of explained, very very split secondy.
how
Remember, Lucky's new power has the power to control time within a sphere around himself.
I don't remember this, but maybe I wasn't paying enough attention.
I don't think it's been expressly explained, but that was the description given in the magazines.
Oh, I didn't read the magazines. I don't fucking speak Japanese.
Well, that's what it was. Is basically his Kyutama has a power to transcend time within basically an area around himself. It's why he can generate the fucking portals.
Okay, so he just created like copies, or in essence. No. Well,
he teleported them from the time stream that they're stuck in.
Okay.
Which logistically should not have had to happen.
They still transcended time. Lucky was just the one who did it. I loved seeing Balance's tears on his face. Like, whoever designed those, props to you. Toy, keep your costume designer. They do a good job.
Toei, your costume designer is great for physical gags. To me, the best part of this entire thing was the setup with when they all come out of Naga's head and the governor grows large and he's normal size. To me, that was the best gag that I've seen in this series since it started, and that was even with all the Sholenpo's dumb shit. All in all, it's like I'm very very glad that Naga got to keep this power up. It was unexpected, just in terms of not even just with the way that they've been handing Lucky all the power ups, but just storyline in general. It was one of those, it's like, hey, he's normal again, so he lost that power, which was I would have been perfectly acceptable with. And it's like, no, he gets to keep that power up. It's like, yay! We get Silver. We get normal Silver, who's a badass, and then we get badass Silver. I'm down. I've missed Balance and Naga interacting. It's the issue I have with them doing the Culetta Chance crap. Because Balance and Naga, to me, are two people who should, through any of this series, they should never be broken up. They should always be together. Period. Because they work so fantastically, and the actors and suit actor in Balance's case, they play so well off each other. You know, it's like anytime you see Balance, your thought is, where's Naga? This would be better with Naga. And the same thing when, you have Naga, you have the reverse for that. I've missed them being the BN Thieves. And it was a nice touch, especially with once they defeated I forget who was it that they fought. I don't know. After they defeated him, Naga Balance just sat down, went, "Okay, you got this," and laid down. He's like, "I'm done." And then when they defeated Akamba, Balance just jumps in at the end like he did. He worked with him too. He's like, "Nope, I'm gonna take credit too because you did half the work, and you're part of my group." It's like it's moments like that make me love Balance, and especially with the gag with the tears. That was just amazing. I love this fucking episode.
Okay, so final thoughts? Decade?
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with Drago that this is my favorite episode of KyuuRanger. I have not been moved this much from a Sentai in a while, actually. And yeah, this was really, really well done. Great acting, great voice acting, great suit acting. Awesome.
Well, I would. This episode was great. Like, it's my favorite. Is my favorite, and also the fact that I wish now, since Lucky is Orion, I wish others use the other power ups like Pegasun and the Hikari Kyutama instead.
Me too.
Because,
Same.
yeah, because now they have to fight Don Armage, and why don't they use everything in their arsenal? So yeah, that's one of the few reasons why one of the few things I really want to see in KyuuRanger. Otherwise, yeah, I really love this episode.
I think it's almost all the way across the board. This was one of my favorite KyuuRanger episodes, and one of my favorite Sentai episodes. Yes, I'm going that far, because I friggin' adored this episode, and I'm probably going to watch it again after the podcast is done. So, yay! Another win for KyuuRanger.
This was definitely like one of the best episodes of KyuuRanger, and will probably go down as both Balance and Naga's finest moments in my book. I actually like this. Really like emphasizes the pinnacle of what their characters are, and what their characters are is they work together. I hope that this series keeps this good writing track that they're on.
Right. Because to me, this is back to the Stinger and Scorpio arc level of writing. It's phenomenal. In this episode, I fully agree, is the best episode of KyuuRanger. And I've noticed something looking back on the last since the start of the series. For me personally, I think this would be a better series to binge watch than go week by week. But we don't have the choice on that because A, we do the podcast, and B, we're caught up. Because there's too many passable episodes. I'm not gonna say bad because there are a few bad episodes to where. It's like you get the bad episode and we have to sit there for a week going, well, I hope the next week's good. Or in this case, we have a fantastic episode and we have to hope that the next episode is even remotely as good. Whereas if you binge it, you can kind of go, that one wasn't bad, on to the next episode. And, it's like you don't have that wait period of going, well, crap, I was disappointed in that episode. Now I have to wait a week to hope it gets better. But that's my personal opinion on it. It's like, I like KyuuRanger. It's one of those series that it's too all over the place. But that's all I got.
I agree with Vashi as a person who just binge watched like about 30 episodes in the span of 4 days. Yeah. The KyuuRanger did have a lot of passable episodes, but I would say like I never found most of them bad, other than some of the early ones. But even I could just watch and finish it off. The place where it took off for me was when Shoranpo transformed into Dragon Master. Man, I really forget Ranger names. Ryu Commander. So yeah, Ryu Commander. After that, I feel that the episodes were much better because they were more focused on other characters than Lucky. Yeah, but binge watching was a much better idea for like when I'm watching KyuuRanger than I feel watching weekly was gonna be. I hope other episodes are remotely as good as this episode, or else I'll have to stop watching and then binge watch at the end.
If you go back and listen to our earlier podcasts on this series, we probably sound like we absolutely hate it, but that's because the first arc is bad. The turning point is when they introduce Scorpio as the focused antagonist of that arc, and he's a Kamen Rider. and it's
Yeah.
just really awesome.
And to be fair, if it wasn't for that arc, I probably wouldn't be on this podcast to begin with.
Like, I will admit, it's like, if you go back and listen to our podcast, it's literally like the first arc. It's like almost every episode of our podcast is us just ripping the hell out of this series. And it started out bad because there was so much wrong with the start of the series, and it's fixed a lot of problems since then. Not all of them, just enough to make it to where it's like, okay, we don't have to rip on this as much as we have been. We still have the moments like Lucky getting all the power-ups, excluding now the first power-up that has nothing to do with Lucky. The underdevelopment of characters because they have so many. It's no longer a crap fest of let's get it out of the way, and here's the 3 or 5 good things in the episode, and here's everything that was wrong with it. Now it's flipped because that's what it was at the start. Now here's all the good shit, and it's amazing, and here's the 1 or 2 things that were bad, or 1 or 2 things that they didn't explain. In this episode, the things that weren't explained was Dark Naga ended up inside Dark Naga's own head, because yeah, and the fact that Lucky is the reason that the Champ and Shoulampo's Kyutamas showed up in the present. That was about it. Everything else was amazing. Well, and Spada's Mamma Mia. That was just terrible. That was a terrible decision.
Yeah, the one problem that I had in the first arc, which I had given up on KyuuRanger before, was the fact that Lucky isn't a good protagonist. Like, I'm talking about even as a red. People like to defend Lucky, like how he's a good red and all. I wouldn't say he is, because he's you annoyed the hell out of me in the beginning. But the thing that has happened that in the later part of KyuuRanger is that they have toned down Lucky significantly after Lucky got a good development in the Unlucky episode, which is the only reason Lucky is bearable. And I think he has gotten better as a protagonist a bit since then.
He's had the few moments that have made him. It started out with him being passable with the whole His Bad Luck episode, with how that one ended, and then we got the weird Garo's in love with Lucky thing. Then, we get the small little moments of, like, him talking to Eris, and, his, standing up with Orion and all that. It's like, we've gotten the moments that have turned him into, if I'm not going to say a great red yet, because I have a feeling now 90% of the time he's going to be white. And I realize that sounds slightly racist to anybody who's not aware of Power Rangers and is just having to randomly click on this video for some reason.
Just call it Ryan.
But it's turned him into a good red. I can, at this point now, stomach the fact that he is the leader of the KyuuRangers. And it's no longer one of those, like, why are you following this fuckhead? Like, it seemed to be at the start, and now it's okay, I can live with this, it makes sense. I mean, even with his speech to Ho-Ho Soldier, or Suguri, it makes sense, it fit, it worked, and unfortunately, this is one of the issues I have with it, is they focus so much time into developing Lucky's character because I feel he was so unlikable at the start that they've dropped off character development for other people, like Hame.
Yeah, they need to really develop Hami, Garu, Raptor, Spada,
Champ. All we know about Champ is that his creator was killed, and now he's chummy with Stinger. Like,
He did not get it now.
And
the past thing.
his creator may or may not have been dealing with dark matter.
that's actually why Champ has stayed in the past. He's like, oh, I have something I want to check. Yeah, of course you're going to check to see if your creator was working for them.
So he might get some development now.
But it's whether or not that'll be on-screen development or off-screen, because that's the issue now, is whether or not anything that Champ and Showlumpo are doing in the past will be on screen, or if it'll be they'll just show up and go, oh yeah, by all the way, all this happened. Have fun. We're never going to show it to you.
And yeah, well, okay, fine. Continue.
Like typically, I'm okay with the stuff happening off screen, like them planning out the whole, using the Q-Tom in this episode and all of the setting, all that up. Fine, let that happen off screen. But with like major plot development like this, especially if it involves character development, for the love of God, put that on screen. Otherwise, it's very confusing when people show up and just go, hey, all this happened, and this is why I'm this way now.
Everything about Garo's introduction.
Yes, pretty much.
Dinger's getting off-show development too.
Yes.
And we're going to actually see it,
we will actually see it. It may not happen physically in the show, but we will be able to see that.
But Champ is in it too, so technically that means we're going to see some of his development too.
Are we, though?
Possibly.
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see. Depending on when those DVDs actually release.
That's all I have. Does anybody have anything else?
Yeah, I have news. Well, two Sentai trademarks were filed. Keisatsu Sentai Pato Ranger and Kaito Sentai Lupin Ranger.
Oh my
who
god.
Are gonna be who are gonna be fighting each other.
All I know is if they do not make a Lupin the Third reference, I'm going to be pissed.
Same here.
Because, I mean, literally that joke writes itself.
I am so excited for this.
Like, I want the background music when they henshin, for when the Lupin Rangers henshin, to literally just be the Lupin the Third strings. Nothing else. Just the Lupin the Third strings.
Over the next few months, we're probably going to start seeing some stuff about the next coming Sentai for when KyuuRanger ends.
God, I can't wait to see the scans for this.
Yeah.
I have a proposition for everybody on that. Until we have anything really officially on it, we avoid it for the most part on the podcast.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
And when we do it, we'll do the whole spoiler tag thing, and however we can figure out how to do that on a live stream.
It's called,
never
hey.
mind, I'm dumb. Hey, I have a counter.
For yourself?
Well, yeah, because we have been live for 51 minutes and 23 seconds.
It's also called saying, hey, we're going to talk about spoilers now, so click away if you don't want to hear any of that. And if we just save it for, like, afterward on talking about that episode of KyuuRanger, we'll be fine.
Yeah, do it at the end, and that's the end of the podcast. For those of you who don't want spoilers, get the hell out. Probably a little bit less rude than that. Zero might get pissed if I'm rude.
If you don't want spoilers, thank you for listening, but if you don't care and you want to hear about the two new Sentai, by all means.
Not today, though, because we have no other information.
That is all the information we have on that, and that is official, so it's not spoilers.
More news as it develops.
And that... Oh, go
on. And
on
on that note, like I said, it's not spoilers because, hey, learn to use Google, people. And on that note, go ahead, Rye.
I think we're going to say the same thing, and that sounds like it's time to wrap up the podcast.
Thank you all for joining us. We will be back next week for episode 32 of KyuuRanger. For those of you who are interested in Kamen Rider, and for our actual listeners, and for those of you who are listening to this and have never heard of Kamen Rider or seen anything involving Kamen Rider, please check out our Kamen Rider podcast, which we will be doing tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button at the bottom. We kind of live for that stuff because it's pretty much why we do it.
Hey man, this is a hobby.
Yeah, well, it's a hobby, but it's nice to get a little, hey, we like your crap. Please stroke our egos.
If you like listening to us ramble for some reason, subscribe so that you know when our podcasts are going up.
But yeah, if anything, we'll see you guys next week and or tomorrow. Thank you all for listening. I am Vashi V saying good night.
Good morning in my time, but good night.
Laters.
Later, taters.
We'll see you next time.